there everybody, in this video we're going to do a little weekend trip to the Costa Brava.
We're headed to Tossa De Mar.
If you're a Game of Thrones fan, it's going to look awfully familiar. So this is Laura's bike that she's taking, her breadwinner, big surprise. And she's doing the poop bag packing. I'm taking the Sklar, and there's this hot new thing called rack packing. It's revolutionary. I'm going to be testing out the Old Man Mountain Divide rack, as well as their new mini panniers. So let's get going. This is the Spanish suburbs, something that no one really shows when they talk about Girona. It's all like the old medieval stuff. But you've got, cute little boxy modern things on the outskirts. Nice bike trail through the burbs though. Okay, so we're out here in the country, El Campo. I guess we should talk a little bit about the route. So we took a roadie route and broke it up into 2 days, just so we could actually explore Tossa rather than do a quick coffee stop and call it good. It just looks like such a cool place. So we're gonna stay overnight. You found interesting hostel? Or it's called a hostel?
Yeah, it's one of those interesting European places that's called a hostel, but is nothing like a hostel. Yeah, it looks really cool because it's right in the old part of town. Easy walking to the castle on a car-free street. Sounds okay.
I think one of the challenges was, although it's warm for us, it's still pretty cold for the average Spaniard. So a lot of the lodging isn't open. There's a place that we wanted to stay that had a ping pong table and was advertised as bike friendly, but they're not open yet. So that is one thing to keep in mind. I think everything starts to open up around April, and then when that opens, it's like everyone is there.
I don't really think they do shoulder season.
It's like on or off.
Right.
So we took the trail out of town. We're gonna go hit up some country roads. We're gonna pass through a town called Lagusta, hopefully grab a coffee, and then from there, that's the start of the big climb of the day. We climb up and then descend into Tossa, which super looking forward to. Okay, so we just pulled up into the town of Lagusta. You can see the medieval center out there. I think we're gonna try to find some coffee, just a quick snack break before the big climb of the day. We just finished up a highway section, which was fine. I mean, the traffic wasn't too heavy, but it wasn't car free. I think that's one of the challenges of finding routes to ride in this area. A lot of them are mapped out by roadies who have a higher tolerance for traffic, so we kind of have to sort through things. But let's get some coffee. What's for lunch, part one?
We have entrepot.
Yeah.
De jamon serrano.
Nice.
This is a grande, if they ask you. It's usually good for splitting. Coffee and orange juice.
So what do you think of that stretch coming in?
It was interesting.
Interesting good, interesting bad.
Well, it was maybe one of the more heavily trafficked roads that we've ridden out here. But even at that, it wasn't like super trafficked. It's just that because it's a Sunday, there are a crap ton of cyclists out, and these huge pelotons of they seemed like maybe German tourists. And so all of the cars that there were, doing some complicated passing maneuvers that weren't always the safest or smartest. So I'm glad it was a short stretch, and I hope that the big climb is less trafficked.
The part we have next is we hop back on the highway, and we go up and over a little mountain down into Tossa. I think we climb I want to say it's maybe 600 feet, 6 to 100,000 to 100,000, 6 to a or 1,000 feet. I've been mapping out routes, and like the elevation calculations have been really off from the reality. But it'll be our big climb of the day, and then we'll be at the sea. Get some beach vibes. Are you ready for beach vibes?
Definitely.
Okay, the Garmin's beeping and it's saying this is the start of the climb. Supposedly 2.6 miles and 540 feet. So nothing like super huge, but we'll see if it's accurate. So far, the road is fine. Definitely a little bit more traffic than we would prefer. Actually, a fair amount of moto traffic, but still, apparently a pretty popular route for the roadies. Whoa, tour bus. Okay, so we've reached the top of our climb on the way to Tossa. You know, it's not bad compared to US standards, but more than we've been riding with lately.
It's fine, but
not your favorite?
Not my favorite. It's funny because, I mean, the volume objectively was not super high, and drivers were relatively pleasant. You know, they were patient and went around. There's even kind of a shoulder. I honestly thought there'd be nobody out here since it's still off season, so I don't know what all these people are doing.
Yeah, there was a giant tour bus that passed us, and it made me think that if this is the volume like during off season, I probably wouldn't ride this like peak summer or peak tour season.
I'm really glad that we're coming out now and we didn't wait until the hotel's open.
Right.
And it's like on over there. So
let's go downhill into Tossa. Okay, we've picked up some groceries and wiggled our way through town, and we should be coming up to the sea. There's a castle. So I think we're gonna have lunch here and stare at the castle. So we're just looking for our place that we're staying for the night. Somewhere in here. Looks like there's gonna be some bike portage. It's upstairs.
in theory, would you like me to walk up there and make sure that it's up there before we carry the bikes up?
Yes. So it's the word?
The word is it's right there.
Okay.
So yes, this is the right way. There might have been fewer steps the way that we first tried to go, but...
This is the adventure part. Okay, so we just checked in. The bikes are in a courtyard within the property, and this is the room. It's very small yet charming. Do you want to show them the view?
It's very European. Tiny little balcony.
Very tiny.
If you look out here.
Oh yeah. Some castle vibes over there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, I think we're gonna get showered and then do some exploring. I brought some painting gear, so So hoping to come away from this trip with a couple little small paintings. Tossa De Mar has a beautifully intact medieval walled city, one of the last remaining ones on the Costa Brava. It's definitely worth a prolonged stop beyond just a simple coffee break. There's a lot of hikes that you can do to explore the city as well as get out into the nature and take in the scenery. It has a plethora of places to stay and eat, and it's our opinion that if you're going to make the effort to bike out there, you should stay a while and do some exploration. Hey there everybody, it's day 2 and we're about to head out from our mini tour from Tossa. We're riding back to Girona. What do you think of the place that you picked out?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's a nice, small property, quiet, tucked back in the super old part of the city.
In terms of bike facilities, they had like this really narrow courtyard where we just free lock the bikes and it was okay.
Yeah, I think it worked out fine because it's not a space that, like, it's a narrow little space where I think they just like store things, so nobody had any reason to be back there.
Yeah.
So inside, locked.
Okay, so today's ride should be pretty interesting. It's supposed to have one of the most scenic portions of the ride. We're going to ride from here to the town of Sant Feliu and on this really squiggly coastal road, which is supposed to promise lots of amazing views. Looking at the elevation profile, it is not flat.
No, it's definitely going to do that, like, up and down as you like have, you know, rivers and stuff coming in, drainages. So I don't know, it should make it
interesting,
look pretty. That's how you get those pretty rocky cliffs, right?
Yeah. On the map, it looks very reminiscent of Big Sur. Hopefully it rides better than that stretch of the 101, but we shall see. Starting the day off with some bike portage. Whew. Yay! Okay, so out of town we've got these switchbacks. It feels like riding up in the Hollywood Hills. I feel like this part's going to be interval training, going up hills and then down. All right, so that first part getting out of town, definitely on the steep bit. Traffic has chilled out. For frame of reference, we're going on a Tuesday morning pre-season to kind of avoid most of the traffic. But check out the views. What'd you think?
Oh my god, it's bonkers. It's so like steep and windy, and you wanna just like gaze out into the amazing view, but also you really gotta pay attention.
Yeah, I'm totally getting a little bit of the Big Sur vibes, but also like that stretch in Northern California around Marin, like near the headlands. You know?
Yes,
so.
Yes. Lots of comparisons to the California coast here.
Yeah.
Except for one thing, the traffic here. Nothing like the jerks that you've run into or that try and run into you on the California coast.
So far, on the Tuesday, it's off season. We've got some Euro adventure mobiles here to the right. All right, we just made it to San Feliu. Now we're looking for a bakery. We stopped at a cafe called La Fleca and got some cafe dobles and little entrepats. So cute.
They are cute.
All right, cheers. Now we're on the Via Verde and should be taking us all the way back to Girona, which is pretty cool. We haven't done this stretch from the coast, so let's see what it's like. So we're showered and we're rested and we just wrapped up the trip. The last stretch was kind of uneventful, but in a good way. We just took the Via Verde straight back, essentially from Sant Feliu. What do you think of that stretch?
I liked it. I thought coming off of the windy and up and down kind of roller coastery coast route, it was nice to just be on this chill, mostly flattish trail. That stretch of the trail was new for us. So I've really come to appreciate these Via Verdes. They're a little bit sort of cut and paste and kind of bizarre sometimes. You really have to pay attention to where you're going. But also, I kind of like them because they basically cut through people's backyards. You get to see parts of communities you probably wouldn't see otherwise. And so I kind of like that. Feels a little bit like a behind the scenes.
Final day, the mileage came out to about 39 miles, around 2,600 feet of climbing. A good portion of that elevation was the windy road between Tossa and Sant Feliu. Very reminiscent of the Marin Headlands or the California coast, Southern Oregon coast. I think it was interesting to take a popular kind of roadie loop and break it up into a mini tour. We'll probably do more of those in the future. In terms of this route in particular, although it's very iconic and the riding is good, there's actually a fair amount of traffic.
And we were there off season, middle of the week. I can only imagine how bonkers it gets in the summer. It was a beautiful ride. The coast is stunning. The views were amazing. But not my favorite kind of riding. Narrow road, windy. Even when there weren't cars right behind us, you kind of have that pressure that there could be a car at any moment.
We delve a little bit more into this in this week's Patreon updates. So if you want our kind of unfiltered take on things, definitely become a Patreon supporter. We also give more details on where we stayed and what we thought of everything. I'd still recommend it, but definitely adjust your expectations. Mm-hmm. This is not like a leisurely Dodley where you can kind of zone out and ride tour. You have to be fairly on point. And I think that's one thing that a lot of videos that I've seen about this coastal loop don't mention. It's like all of a sudden they're at the coast and it's beautiful and it's perfect and there's no mention of traffic, but that was not our experience.
Yes, that is very true. And I will say I feel like it's really kind of a shame, like a wasted experience to ride all that way just to look at the water, have a coffee and ride home. Like it was a really cool town and just really beautiful out there. And so being able to break it up into a trip like this, even if that there's, somebody out there many somebodies are going to think it's really lame of us, but I personally see why would you miss out on the chance to explore such a cool medieval town.
Yeah, if you're flying out and you want to do the coast route, do it, but also stay in Tossa because it's such a cool place.
Yeah.
So look for more adventures in the next coming weeks. The weather's finally good and we'll be making more ride videos and more behind the scenes content for our Patreon supporters. So you guys know what to do. As always, keep the supple side down.